Hi, I'm Bob, and welcome to Between the Sheets, where we look at Microsoft Excel and related technologies. If you ever used Excel's Name Manager dialog, which you'd have to use for creating range names, constants, or lambda functions, you know how awkward it is. It supports only one line of text for formulas and only one line of text for comments, and moving the text cursor in it when you want to edit the formula actually changes the formula. By the way, to avoid that in the Windows edition, you can press the F2 key. And in either Windows or Mac, you can click in the box, but all of that is easy to forget. That dialog is a hot mess. So Microsoft is introducing an add-in that will eventually replace the Name Manager. It's called the Advanced Formula Environment. As of now, it's still in beta, but you may be able to install it for free and give it a test drive. So let's take a look and see how it works. Let me start by showing you the old Name Manager. So on the ribbon bar, I'm going to go to the Formulas tab, and in the middle of the Defined Name section, there's the Name Manager. I'm doing this in Windows. If you're on the Mac, it's the same thing. And you can see these are two Lambda functions I created in an earlier episode. I'm going to open the one called Sliding Disk. And this applies an order discount depending on how much product was purchased. And you can see there's the name, the comment. Now, see, there's the first variable, pounds equals this. The second variable, total equals that. Well, I'd really like to get that total on a second line, but I can't. If I go and hit the Enter key, nothing's going to happen. I'm just going to OK it. Where it says refers to, if I want to edit this, this is what I was saying a moment ago. It's difficult. It's just hard to edit in here. I could drag around. So this is just really very awkward. I'm just going to cancel out of there. Now I'm going to go back on the ribbon bar to the Home tab. And on the end, you can see there's Excel Labs. I've already installed it, so I'm going to take you through most of the way of how to get it onto your computer. What you do is you click Add-ins, and if you don't see it listed right there, I have Excel Labs there because I've installed it. What you want to do is go down and choose More Add-ins. And then in this dialog box, you could search for it. So I'm going to click in there, and I'm going to search for Excel Labs. And there it is. And all you have to do is click Add, and then it'll get added to your ribbon bar. I already have it, so I'm going to cancel that. Now, when you're ready to use it, you just click it. And there's various other items in here. There may be other items on your machine when you look at it. I'm going to click Open. And because I'm on the cell E6, this just shows me what's in cell E6. So right now, I'm on the Grid tab. Let's go to the Names tab. And the Names tab, this is kind of like the Name Manager. And the lambdas that we saw a moment ago in the Names dialog box, you can see are in here in the Functions tab. So let's go and edit this. So there's the sliding disk that we saw a moment ago. I'm going to hit this pencil to edit it. So there's the name. And there's that total that I really want on its own line. So I'm just going to hit Enter. Wow, look at that. I can hit Enter and put something on another line. And this shows the variables that are in there. It's something the Name dialog box didn't do. And this, in general, is easier to edit. I'm going to click this little arrow here. And I have to smush my screen to be able to record this window. But if I want to put this, let's say, on another line, I can go do that. And I want to put this on another line, I can go and do that. So in yours, you should have a few more lines there that you can edit at once. And I'm just going to click Done. Now, we could also use this to create formulas. And I'm going to start by creating a range name in the old Name Manager, and we'll see it appear here also. So what I want to do is down column C, I'm going to select pounds, go back to the Formulas tab, and create from selection. I'm going to use names in the top row. There we are. And click OK. So when I go back to the Name Manager, I can see there is that name, including the period. And I'm going to close out. Now, when I go to ranges in there, there it is. If you don't see it, one or two things you might need to do, you can right-click on ranges and refresh. You might also see like a little italic letter I to the right of that hamburger menu to do that, to go and sync the name manager. We can create range names directly in the advanced formula environment. So I'm still in names and ranges, and I can click that plus sign. Thing is, I have to do this manually. So you type in the name and the description if you want, then manually put in the definition. So at this point, unlike the name manager or create from selection, this will not do it automatically. I assume at some point that will let you do that. We can also use this to create named formulas. So I'm still in the Names tab, and I'm going to go to the Formulas subtab, and then I click this plus sign there. So I'm going to create a formula called sum pounds. And down in the definition, I'm going to use the sum function, and I want to use the range name that I created a moment ago. So I'm going to start typing it in, and I'm just going to click it there, click done. So now I have that as a named formula. So there is the subtotal of pounds. I'll just scroll down a little bit, and just so you can see that it works, I'm going to say equals, and I just type in the first few letters, and you can see there it is. It recognizes it. I'll just hit the tab key to continue it and enter, and there we go. You see it's that same number. So yes, you could use the name manager to create a named formula, but you see the AFE is just a lot easier to use, a lot easier to do that with. A somewhat strange feature is the ability to scrape the worksheet and figure out how to create a function that returns results that are already there. I really don't understand the purpose of this, but I'll show you how it works. So what I'm going to do is click this little grid button there. So it says range containing the calculation. That is going to be D6. Cells to treat as parameters. I can't click on the worksheet because if I do, it's going to overwrite what's in there. I have to, at this point, I have to do that manually. So I'm going to say, all right, that's B6 and C6, and the output cell, that is this. That is E6. Preview, and you see it kind of creates its own Lambda function. I'm going to click create, and maybe I don't want to use that default name. I'm going to hit that pencil and edit it, and instead of just I'm going to call this just test function, just like that. Click and edit, done. Let's scroll over here a little bit, and I'll just do this next to it in column F so you can see it's going to be the same. So I'm going to say equals test, and also I type in the first few letters. There it recognizes, oh yeah, test function. That's a named Lambda, and that's going to be, I'm going to use B6, comma, C6, and enter. And there is that same 33, and I can autofill down. And you see these numbers are the same. So it discovered what I did, it reversed engineered it, and created its own Lambda. Another feature is the ability to link to a GitHub gist. GitHub is a subsidiary of Microsoft and is a repository of snippets of mostly open source code. As the name suggests, it uses Git, which is a version control system. If none of this makes any sense to you, feel free to skip to the next section of this video. This gist will paste a few columns of text. It'll update if the source data updates. So I'm going to stay in names, and you see we've got this little cloud download arrow, and I'm going to click that. This is, okay, what's the URL? And give us a module name. This is a long URL, so I'm going to paste it. I already have it in my Windows clipboard rather than retyping it. And then the module name, this is a list of MIME types, and import. Might take a while, but there it is. So now this becomes a stored module that I can bring into a worksheet. So what I'm going to do is in the workbook, I'm going to just hit this blank sheet 2, and I'm going to put it right there. So I can just click that little button, and I can paste. And it pastes right in. Now this may or may not already span 4 columns. If not, of course, you can always go to the Data tab, Text to Columns, And there we go. Now we have this split into 4 columns as we would want it to be. So that's just an example. There might be other sets of data that you want to use. This is just a simple example. GitHub also has a lot of lambdas available for free, and you can search for them. Lambdas are Excel functions you can use to create your own custom functions. If you weren't familiar with these, you can go back and watch my earlier video where I show how they work. The lambda I'm going to use here will look through an array of cells and return all the rows that contain the text you specify. It's kind of like a lookup function. I'm going to go over to the Modules tab, and this is where we're going to insert the code. So I'm going to go to the GitHub site, and there's a lot of stuff here. And what I'm interested in is this lambda here from line 19 to 31. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to copy that to the clipboard. Let's go back to Excel. And I'm going to click here, and I'm going to paste. There we go. And got to remember to save. Hit that save button. So I'm going to go to the products worksheet. And you can see some of the products on this worksheet are ground coffee. Some of them are whole bean. You can see as I scroll through that. So what I want to do is use this lambda to extract just those cells that contain the words whole bean. I'll just do that on column B. So I'll just click right over there. So all I have to do is now use it. So I'm going to say equals list. And again, I just have to type in the first few letters. See, there's the name of the lambda on line 5, list of text matches, so it recognizes it there. I don't have to type the whole thing. I'll just hit the tab key. And what I want to look for is the words whole bean. Have to put that in quotes. And where do I want to find it? I want to find it from there down to there. And that's it. Close the parenthesis, enter, and there it is. So this is showing me only those cells where the text contains whole bean. By the way, you notice this is a spell function. Now let's just make a change. I'll go over here, this Colombian whole bean. I'll change that to maybe Brazilian. And you notice it changes right there because this is a live function. You see, the advanced formula environment is more than just a replacement for the name manager. It's really a development tool. And at some point, it will probably be a standard item on the ribbon bar. So until next time, my name is Bob, and this has been Between the Sheets.